Hi, everybody. Happy 2022. This is Karen Anderson here live with aortichope for our Week in Review series. We are starting this a little bit later. We want to first acknowledge the loss of our board member and colleague and very dear friend, Greg Aaron Greenberg. But we are going to persevere and we're going to push forward and we're going to do amazing things this year, if for no other reason than for his honor and to support all of you. So first things first, let's welcome with us today Tammy Warner and Diane Bishop of Aortic Health Unlimited. We want you all to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can see all of the great things we're going to share with you. First up, I think we're going to start with the very first post that we put up for the year. And that was giving you a little bit of insight about aortichope, and we'll just chat about it a little bit. But in case you're new, and bear with me because this is my first time taking control at the helm, so there may be a few little glitzes and issues there, and I can't even see myself, so I don't even know what I'm doing, but we're just going to roll with it. But in case you're new to aortichope or you just weren't aware, we do have a lot of things to offer. But let's start off with what aortichope actually is. And we are a 501c3 publicly founded charity. We are actually a community of survivors living with aortic disease and its impacts. So that means that pretty much everybody on the board has been touched by aortic disease in some way, shape, or form. And we have some lofty goals, but what are some of our goals? To sum it up, we are here to spread hope, create awareness, and provide support to patients, survivors, and caregivers during the recovery and management of aortic disease. And these goals are achieved a variety of ways. And I think for this particular day, we were focusing on hope. And hope is pretty much the cornerstone of what aortichope is all about. And we do this online by providing inspirational and thought-provoking stories, which we are going to share with all of you. And a lot of this is posted from the community, and we highly encourage anyone to join our private forum that's in Facebook, or to communicate with us here through YouTube or also on our website. We also have a private forum on the caregivers page on Facebook, and one also for those individuals who have lost family or friends to aortic disease, and that's our grief-only forum. We also have a really great initiative that we're going to talk about a little bit, which is our Hope Mail Care Packages. Now, this is free to you. You can sign up. The link will be provided. It's also in our website. And when you sign up, you will receive a small little token of our appreciation once a year during the month of your aortiversary. Now, if you've had more than one surgery, I suggest you pick just one date. And we also have our Saturday Survivor series, and it happens about every other Saturday. And those are stories provided by the community for the community. And it's a series that you can sign up to hopefully decide to come on with us live and tell your story of inspiration and your story of survival or your loved ones. And if you're not extremely comfortable with going live like we are here, then we ask that you consider doing your own recording. And believe me, when we record our week in reviews, we tend to have quite a lot of bloopers that we'll share with you one day. So stopping and starting isn't a problem. Or you can also submit your story by written format and just send us your blog. And then there's going to be a link that's provided for you to sign up for that as well. So that is all of the variety of ways in which we provide hope to the community. Ladies, I'm going to let you guys take it away if you want to just chat about that or give us some of your thoughts.
I'll go ahead. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you here in the year of 2022. It's been a rough years. My condolences to the family of Greg Aaron Greenberg and to you as well, Karen, to your loss. But as Karen mentioned, we're going to go ahead and move on forward and do something positive, for us, and also, in their memory and the honor of the loved ones. Aortic Hope is an awesome organization, and I recommend everyone to be a part of it. There's something there for everybody. If you are a survivor, you are a caretaker, your loved one. I mean, they're a caretaker, your spouse. They're considered to be a caretaker. They have to take care of you and to assist you and to help. These support groups, they're awesome groups, and I highly recommend you all reach out. You could get something so beneficial. And not just that, but when you connect with Aortic Hope, you learn that you meet people, and you're not just meeting them as a sense of an organization. You end up having a good relationship with them. I mean, I'm very proud to say and consider them as my family. I mean, much love to every single one of y'all. And, we call each other at nighttime or whenever something happens, they're always there for you. So whenever you need something, I mean, there's something there for you. I promise you. And if someone can't get back to you, they'll get back to you ASAP. And there's a lot of great things to offer through Aortic Hope.
Thanks. That's so sweet. And for those of you that aren't aware, if you are on Facebook and you want to check out Aortic Health Unlimited, you're going to find that if you miss something from my page with Aortic Hope, or you miss something from Rock from the Heart or Aortic Warriors, or really anything that any of the community members are doing, you'll find all that information on Aortic Health Unlimited's page, as well as any of the fun things that I know they've got in the works for 2022. So we appreciate all of that support. And now bear with me, I can't see any of you, so because I'm sharing my screen, but Tammy, I'm going to guess you're still there, and I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and give your thoughts.
I am here. I'd like to say, yes, I'm here. I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. It does feel very odd to be here without Greg. I missed him at our board meeting. I just looked at a post that he had, or an email that he had sent me. But we are going to persevere, and in his honor and his memory, we are going to move on and carry out everything that he wanted us to do, everything that he paved the way for us as a team to do. So I'm happy to be here. Happy Monday, and let's get started.
All right, well, that sounds good. Let's move on to what we had. And the first post on Monday of last week was Make It Happen Monday. And this was a continuation of going over some of the information about aortic hope. And as we talked about the first day, we discussed a little bit about hope. Now on Monday, we were discussing with you how we create awareness. And thanks in part to the donations that you are all so generous to give us, we're able to spread hope in a variety of ways through our creating awareness campaigns. And we've done that by participating in radio shows. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but on Sirius XM, at least for me, it's channel 110. That's called Dr. Radio. And typically on Friday mornings, they have a whole cardiology show. Now it starts at 6:30 a.m., which I'm usually not wide awake for, but they also have a rebroadcast at 4 p.m. All of those times are Eastern. So I'm sorry for those of you on the West Coast, that would be 3:30 a.m. So yeah, but we have been on Dr. Radio before on Sirius XM, talking with a variety of thoracic surgeons, including our own Dr. Ben Udelman, discussing everything that is involved in the thoracic area, especially the aorta. We've also spoken at a variety of colleges and universities, talking to nursing students, telling them our symptoms and seeing if they could guess what was wrong with us. So just really putting ourselves out there in the community. In addition, we have awesome swag. You probably can't see my shirt, but I'm wearing my awesome swag shirt today because it's really chilly here in Maryland. But we have a variety of swag for sale at our stores, and those links will be listed for you, as well as mugs, coffee cups, oh my gosh, hats, keychains, stuffed animals. There's just so many things on these pages in so many different logo variations as well. So there really is something for everyone. And the idea is grab some swag and start a conversation today. People will ask you, they're going to stop you and ask you what those logos mean. We collaborate with other organizations in other countries to help spread globally the idea of being more aware of the aorta. We have partnered with the Society of Thoracic Surgeons, Lawrence Hope, which does medical ID bracelets, and Omron, as well as Rare Patient Voice and Mended Hearts and so many others, just to really help provide the best items for the organizations and the community members. And we also have, well, that was the logo on my shirt, and the logo at the top of this, which I'll show again in a moment. And that is the Aortic Disease Awareness Ribbon. And you can actually pick up one of those magnets for $10 with a donation. All that information will be in this post, which you're supposed to like and subscribe and comment to on the bottom. So let's talk a little bit about that. Who has one of these amazing looking awareness ribbons, which are actually in our magnets? Who's got it on the car?
Yes, I have one on my car, and I've had more than one conversation getting in or out of the car, people asking me about it. And I see when I pull up to our cardiologist, I always know if she's there or not because I see it on her car.
Oh, she has one there too. Yeah. Well, it's so funny because I think I called you one day. I was driving down the street and I thought, who has one of our magnets? That's pretty awesome. And then I realized it would only be you. I don't know anybody else in the area, and it was you. So yeah, I felt really excited. Diane, you've got swag.
I've got a lot of swag, babe.
I know you do.
I have one of them. I've been sporting mine on my car for about maybe 2 years now, I believe, ain't it? 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I have some shirts. I have some face masks. I have let me see. I did order y'all's latest shirt in honor of Greg Super Strong. I got me one of them. I'm waiting for it in the mail, girls.
All right. That's great.
Diane,
I love when I get stopped.
Diane, I just had to order for the mask that you send us that we get through you. So
Good.
I need to check because it appears that the sparkly pink is very well liked. Everybody wants the sparkly pink ones and the sparkly purple ones.
Great
so
deal.
I'll check.
That's important to note because part of our swag and that information is located on a tab called Hope Shops on our website. Diane Bishop is the creator of the masks that we do offer for the community, and they come in a variety of colors, sparkle or matte. I think red, purple, or pink, sparkle or matte. Of course, sparkle would be my preference. And masks are just
easy to wash too.
Yeah, so easy to wash. They wash well. And they're very important to still have around right now. Something is better than nothing, and everybody should at least mask up if you can't be outside and distant. So, all right, there's our Monday. Okay, let's go to Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday was our final bucket of our 3 main missions of our in our mission statement. That didn't even sound right in my own head, but you know what I'm saying: hope, awareness, and support. So Wednesday went into detail about how we actually do provide support within the community. And one of the things we recognize is that navigating the recovery and management of aortic disease is really very overwhelming. It can be quite confusing. And what we do to help the patients and the caregivers is we host these live Q&A sessions, which are so awesome. We actually have one coming up towards the end of January, which will be with Dr. Kristen Watson. All of that information's underneath the events tab on our website, also in the events section on Facebook. And Dr. Watson actually, I think what I love about her presentation, and we'll talk about all of that in a minute together, is she breaks down all of the information about the prescriptions that we take as patients in the aortic world. Everything from ACE inhibitors and calcium channel blockers and beta blockers and diuretics. And she goes through them in a very easy to understand way and kind of helps you understand why we were prescribed them, what the potential side effects could be, how we can have a conversation with our doctor if we're not happy with how we're feeling. And now you'll understand those conversations in a little bit easier way, easier to manage. And we have saved her presentation online as well. But that's this month's live Q&A. And always in the format here on YouTube, we give you an opportunity on our channel to interact with us, ask questions in the comments, tell us what it is you'd like to hear from the speaker, and we'll make that happen for you. We also have interviews with surgeons and therapists. We just try to provide a really wide variety of speakers that we know can make an impact and answer your questions in the community. Now, coming up tomorrow is our Ask a Doctor session. And that for right now is only housed in Facebook, though we will be moving it to this forum soon. But Dr. Siddharth Prakash out of University of Texas is so genuine, so kind, and generous, and gives us about 2 hours of his time to sit there and answer your questions as they're coming up in the comments sections of the post on Facebook. Now, if you wish to remain anonymous with your question, we ask that you send that question to us earlier at info@aortichope.org, and we'll be more than happy to ask that question for you. And these answers are not supposed to replace what your doctor tells you, of course. They're merely to start a conversation and help you advocate for yourself with your own personal physician. Now, we also have online closed support groups, and they are just extremely beneficial because it gives you an opportunity to be in a closed virtual environment where you're with other like-minded people, your peers, and we are going to have special guests now coming to our support group meetings, and then there'll be private time for us to just banter back and forth with each other. And brand new for 2022 will be designated meetings for caregivers only, and they begin in February, and more details about that will be following. But the easy part is you just need to click on the link and register once, and then you'll have an opportunity to find out via email when all of those meetings are taking place, and then you just click the link to join. A few other things that we have, and then we're going to get into all of these together as a group, is our Tableside patient advocacy card program. And you can sign up for that. That is free for all of you for right now. So I would get into that now before this initiative changes a little bit. But we have an opportunity to send to your doctor's office a rack card in a rack that allows them to pass out to patients during clinic visit information about our organization so that they can find us and receive the same support that you're getting now as well. And then we have Hope Ambassadors. You can sign up to help us and help us provide support to other individuals. And then also coming in February will be a new community corner, which will be on our blog and will allow anyone to talk about anything within reason, I guess. So let's break this down, ladies. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the live events and some of the ones that maybe have been your favorites and what you've gotten out of it. Who wants to go first? Because I can't see.
Say it again. I have really bad connection.
The live events that we do where we interview people. Do you have a favorite one? And if you do, tell us why.
I have a favorite one because I benefited from it tremendously. With the help me with the name, Daughtery and Cohen.
No, the law firm. Yeah, but no, that was not close. It's Dougherty, Cella, and Keene, and they're located out of Massachusetts, but work nationwide.
Yes, and I know you can find their YouTube online also that they have recorded with us, but that was a big help. So
that is one of the most favorite ones, and that's entitled Navigating the Disability Process. And we will have them on before summer. They're going to break down the entire disability process, why it takes so long, how you might be able to be best prepared to help expedite that. And they're here to help you, even if you decide you'd like to hire them as your team. They explain to you the fee structure. I mean, there's so much, and they're so knowledgeable. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
It's one of those areas that you don't know what you don't know, and you don't understand what you need to say to your doctor to make sure that your doctor is documenting. You might be having those conversations, but if your doctor is not documenting what you're saying, and then he sends his paperwork in and you've said something different in your documentation, the judge he just disregards that. And there's just so much that you don't know if you don't know, and it's an area you really do need guidance in.
Diane, do you have a favorite live event?
I myself ask the doctor.
Okay.
For those, that can't get out and something happened in between time, that's a good tool to use until you can get to the doctor, in between time. You might not have an appointment till next month, and it's very beneficial. Even though, everyone's got to understand, everybody's different, and this is no way a substitute, for your physician, but it is such a great tool to have. It really is. And I think everyone, sometime, will see what I mean if all they got to do is join one time, and you'll learn so much. Even if it's something that you don't have in mind, you learn from them. And then later on down the road, well, I remember one time Dr. Prakash was talking about that. It comes around. So it's very well that you could use that and educate yourself more while it's available to you.
So for me, I'll let you know a little secret. I kind of utilize the Ask a Doctor, and I go in and I ask questions as aortichope, but they typically have to do with my own health concerns. So there it is, the cat's out of the bag. I have all this questions bottled up, and it's not that I don't trust my team. I do, but it's a perfect time that I can have questions answered, and I'm not paying a copay. Or at least, you know what they do? He gives me back information that I can then take back to my doctor.
Right.
So and that's just so
Yes.
beneficial.
Right.
I will say that one of my favorite live events, because I love them all for different reasons. I loved Dr. Udelman showing us graphs and 3D imagery. I love
Yes.
Dr. Fisher producing 3D images of the aorta. But I loved, and I mean loved, when I sat in on the therapist who did grounding techniques and took us through all of the 5 senses. And then she did a sound bath for everyone online. And what you didn't see was me laying out on the yoga mat as she was playing and chanting. It took everything for me not to fall asleep. It was one of my favorite ones. I felt like I got the greatest service for free by interviewing her. So hopefully we'll get her on this year, which would be great. I also do love the support group meetings. As someone who, before I became part of this community from having my dissection, having Crohn's disease, I remember the first time I went to a support group meeting, and that was in 2012. And I sat there silent and just listened to everybody's stories. And I think I cried the entire time, because part of it was, everything they said about their situation, albeit different than mine, was very validating for me. And hearing that other people had such similar stories to me, to mine, part of it, maybe in a way, it made me in the moment feel worse. But it also made me feel like I was accepted by a community. And I developed such deep friendships from those individuals. And we can't do this in a brick and mortar situation. Forget COVID for a second. The community is too far and wide. I mean, we have people that join from other countries into these support group meetings. But if for anybody that's listening, please consider joining one of the support group meetings. I think it really can forever change you as a person. That's my 2 cents on that. Does anybody else have anything you want to add?
That was well said. And that's exactly what I mean when you connect with other people. Their struggle, some reason, become your struggle. Does that make any sense? Like you could relate to what they're saying, or they could relate to you. You could exchange information. I mean, it's so deep to have a personal connection with somebody that has the same condition as you do, or understand what you have. Because, to be honest, sometimes I get angry at folks that don't understand what you're going through, that you're tired, you're sick, or you don't look sick, they say. But it just makes you feel so, so good to connect with somebody who understands, who knows. And I mean, like, we're going to get through this. You have their support. We all there to support each other. We're going to get through this together, one day at a time.
I found the same thing. I found it really helped me process what happened to me and what my future is going to look like. And I just felt like, the people that were putting their hand out in front of me saying, we've been there, we know what you're going through. This is what your future might look like. This is what happened to us. And that helped me a whole lot. But then I could turn around and put my hand out to the person behind me. And by doing that, it really helps to process it when you say it out loud and you talk out loud about it. So that's the impact it's had on me.
Can I say this now to all those out there that think you got to be involved 24/7 into anything, or it's going to take too much of your time or whatever. Keep this in mind. The simplest little thing that you do or
One
say
little,
to somebody can save someone's life or can make a difference, can be all that they need. The simple word of encouragement, and that's worth it.
Hmm. You know, today, on today's actual day, which we're going to talk about next week on our week in review, is movement. It's our movement with movement. It's something we started back in 2020, which was perfect timing because it happened before COVID. And one of the
before,
things, you know, we've tried to explain to people is whatever your doctor has told you that you can do, you can do. So if your doctor says walk, it's okay. You can walk to the post, you know, your mailbox. You're not going to implode. It's okay to sit down and fold clothes. It's okay to walk up the flight of steps and come back down if your doctor's approved it. So sometimes, like Diane, like you're saying, just telling somebody yes, yes, you can, which you can do it. It's going to be okay, which was one of the reasons aortichope came to be, because we recognize that when you go for your first visit, you know, after you've had surgery, whether it was scheduled or not, or even if you're just waiting for your surgery, to be able to have an opportunity to meet another person like you, standing there fully functioning or functioning as best as they're able to, it really can sometimes make you feel like, wait a minute, I can do this. I can laugh. I can cry. It's okay. I'm not going to explode into a million pieces. I'm going to be okay. Because physiologically, nobody teaches us the anatomy, I think, and explains to us that we are going to be okay. So
Mhm.
it just takes one of us, anybody in the communities, to,
Right.
hey, jazz hands, I'm here and I can do it. It's okay. And the next person will be okay. So
Yeah.
how many times can I say okay in a sentence? I don't know. We're going to move on. We're all ready to move on?
Let's move.
Let's moving on. Oh, this was a goodie. This one is our Wisdom Wednesday. So on Wisdom Wednesday, the question was posed, or the discussion topic point was posed, that if you suffer from ocular migraines, you want to read this article. It was called, well, first of all, it was in All About Vision, and it's called Ocular Migraines and Visual Migraines. What's the difference? And we'd asked the question, how many people have or still experience these types of migraines since dissection? I'd like to know how many of those still had it or had it before. And were individuals in the community aware that if you're having an ocular migraine and it doesn't clear up after an hour, you should make a phone call to be checked out in case you are actually experiencing a retinal detachment. And that can happen with people with Marfan disease, vascular Ehlers-Danlos. I'm sure there's others, but it's part of that connective tissue problem that some of us who have had dissections can experience. So let's get into it. Tell me, ocular migraines, visual migraines. What have you guys had, if any?
I
Diane, you
did.
want to go first?
Go ahead, Diane.
Oh, sorry.
Um, well, I mean, I never had that, but I got to say, I mean, you talked about this before, Karen. Sometimes I have trouble, feel like my eyeball gets stuck. I never had it before, but it's after surgery, and sometimes I look at my husband, is my eye stuck? And he's sitting there, no. And I have yet to figure out what the crap that is, but I do not know. But somebody knows, tell me. Ask the doctor, right?
You should ask him, because
A good one.
I had that before I
Oh,
had my dissection, and I've had it once or twice since. This is what my eye doctor said. So I'm not a physician. I'm just sharing my experience. But it happened to me while I was in the movie theater. I looked at the screen, I looked down at the popcorn, and when I went back to look at the screen, I was seeing, like, my eyes were cross-eyed, and I freaked out, and I looked at my mother. I'm like, are my eyes crossed? She said, no, they're perfectly straight. So, but it feels like it. And I got scared.
right.
And from what I was told, you know how you can get a cramp in your calf when you're low in potassium or dehydrated? So it's just an eye strain in the muscles. It's the same thing. And the best thing to do is just close your eyes and take a lot of deep breaths and just give it its few seconds, and it should relax and go back to normal. But it is off. It's as if they got a little stuck. You're talking millimeters, but it's enough to throw off your vision.
So I've had this experience. I did not have any issues with my eyes before I had the aortic dissection. And I started noticing right away, I do have the ocular migraines. That happened also. But I started feeling like I would have a Charlie horse in my eye. And I noticed that it happened if I scanned too fast. Like if something caught my eye off in the corner and I scanned my eye over and came back, it would be exactly like you're saying. You couldn't straighten your eyes out. So mine were happening so bad that I ended up with it was a specialist out of Johns Hopkins, some kind of ophthalmologist. Anyway, she looked at everything. She could not make it happen in her office, but she said what I was describing is called ocular apraxia. And it's something that can happen with the muscles in your eyes, and exactly what you were saying. You just have to close your eyes and relax the eye and it will go away. Some people will get, after they've had like a brain injury, they'll have what's called apraxia, and they might be walking down. I witnessed it with a friend of mine. We were walking down the hall one day. She had been in an accident, had a brain injury, and somebody came out of a door very quickly, and her entire body just went wild, and I had to grab her by her pants, the back of her pants, and she came back. But it's what the doctor explained to me is during open heart surgery, your eyes are one of the hardest things to protect. And that's why we do see some eye issues after surgery. I find that I get the ocular migraines if I'm very stressed and I'm in a hurry, and my blood pressure doesn't correlate to my blood pressure, but it correlates to how I'm feeling, and it'll gradually come on, and then I'll get myself together. I'll realize that I'm stressing myself out too much, and I will take some time and just go sit in my recliner in my bedroom, and I'll get myself together. But that might be what it's called, Diane, is ocular apraxia.
I'm gonna check into that. It's a weird feeling.
It really does. You feel like your eyes are stuck. I had my very first migraine, which my migraines always come with the ocular portion to it. I was in, I think I want to say the end of elementary, the beginning of what we call junior high, but now it's middle school. And I just started, I thought I was going blind. I couldn't see parts of the room. And I remember my mother came and we went to the doctor, and that's what he explained what it was. And then I got very sick everywhere. But now I don't usually get the headache at all with it. It's so specific. Starts off as if I looked at the back of a bumper, and you know how sometimes that bright light will give you a spot in your vision, and it'll start to grow, and the ring gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And over 20 minutes, it'll take over my entire vision. And it's usually either a ring or an odd shape, and the outline of it is all triangles. It's usually always pointy triangles everywhere around. And so sometimes they're fun to look at, because I'm very interested in how they change and why they change. But I've had that for a long time, and that's very different than floaters, which is just the viscosity in the jelly in your eye that gets moved around, which is normal. But it's just, I thought this was so fascinating because so many people in the community talk about having these visual disturbances that last about 20 minutes.
I remember the name. It was a neurological ophthalmologist. That's who I saw, Diane, neurological ophthalmologist.
Okay.
Say it 3 times fast.
There isn't anything you can do about it, but at least I understood what it was, why it was happening.
Okay.
But with that, as with anything else, let's say if your eyes did not go back and your vision stayed, whether it felt crossed or the visual obscurities happen, and anything that's going to last about a half hour to an hour, it's time to call a doctor and get in to be seen right away, because vision's not something you want to mess with, and there is a chance it can happen to us in this community. So that's our Wednesday. And now we're on to Thursday. All right, Therapeutic Thursday. As everyone's making your New Year's resolutions, it can be a daunting task for us with chronic illness or condition. This article actually from Healthline, which was written by Sam Dillon Finch, which was called 9 New Year's Resolutions for People with Chronic Illnesses, really had an interesting perspective on how to start the new year. And I'm not going to click on this link right now to go through all 9, but one of the funny things I found in general about starting a resolution is I never understood why people had to start fresh on January 1, because trust me, by January 2, I drank a Coca-Cola and I said to myself, that's it. 2023 is my year. I've already screwed up 2022. So why do you think we do that? Why do we say it's the start of a new year and today's the day that I'm going to make changes?
People like fresh beginnings.
Right.
True.
New
That's
year,
true.
a new you.
But I will
And what
tell
are
you,
some of your resolutions? What are some of your resolutions this year, Diane?
Ooh, mama, let me tell you. I started last year, but I carried it over, and I'm very proud to say, and don't get me wrong, anybody. I've got a little bit of OCD, in case nobody knew it, and I don't pick up as much behind people. I let them do it. I don't stress over things. Yeah, you knew that was one of my big problems. I stress out a lot of things. I was one that wanted to cook every day. I mean, I'm talking about meal, the meat, the vegetables, bread, sweet tea. I mean, and I don't do that. I now tell my husband, I cook today, I ain't cooking tomorrow. We'll have leftovers, and it's worked out really well. I allowed some time for me. I says after 7 o'clock, that's it. Y'all fence for yourself. Don't bother me. I lay in there, take my shower, lay in there, catch up with my shows. I take a lot of time to myself, and I've gotten more, taking better care of myself as far as my health goes. And I'm very happy to say, like, I'm planning on going on a trip here in 5 days. It's just like, it's time for me to do something and start living. I mean, it has nothing to do with not taking care of the family, because all of my children are grown and stuff. I'm not doing nothing bad, but I learned, I don't sweep the floor. The laundry, I may put them in, but someone, when they're wet, will take them out, put them in the dryer. We worked like that before Diane was doing it all. So I've learned so much, and that's my thing. And my biggest resolution is get out and see the world more. And I'm coming your way, Karen.
I'm waiting. You're
Yeah,
coming
that's
my way and Tammy's.
you, girl.
We all live right near
You too,
each other,
Tam.
so we're
You too,
waiting.
girl. We're ready.
Tammy, what are your resolutions for this year?
well, I agree with everything that Diane said. But I made some like real specific things. I was so tired of every doctor I go to. I counted up, or I found out the other day, I have 11 doctors at just the University of Maryland. And I'm so tired of every time I go into the doctor's office, I have to fill out more forms about all my dates, all my doctors, everything. So one of the things I did the first week of January was I sat down and I typed it out, and I made like 10 copies. And every time I go to the doctors now and they hand me that sideways paper that's been copied 5,000 times, and you can't really even read it, and there's this much space to write your medications in, I just put a big X on it and I hand them my paperwork and I say, can you just scan this into my file? I have not found anybody yet that has said no. So that was, and it felt so good to have that all in one spot, and I don't have to sit and write it every time. And even if they send it to me online, I don't fill it out. I scan, I have a scanner on my phone. I scan it and I email that back to them. And like I said, I have not had anybody say anything to me. One of the things that I thought about, Karen and Diane, that we might do one time when we talk about doing some lives, is to actually sit down and share how we've organized our medical files. And what's worked for us and what hasn't worked. I just went through my files, and I was saving all of those EOBs that my insurance was sending me. Yep, I was saving all of them. And then I realized that I can get them online, and I don't need to put them in a file, and I don't need to keep them in order. So I got rid of all of those. I did some research. I had been saving all of my paperwork every time you get a prescription filled, because I was afraid my insurance company would ask me for it, or I would need to go back and look. But I get all my medications at the same store, and if you go online, you can see it all. So that would be a fun thing to do, is to share ideas of how you actually organize your medical bills.
That is a great
Or
idea.
not your medical, not even just the bills, but your medical information. One of the things I'm struggling with right now that I would like to hear some people's ideas is we have the flex spend, and I'm getting so the flex spend people send me a request for a bill that I paid a year ago and say, oh, you paid this doctor $8.02. We need you to produce a receipt for it. I have a little bit of a way that I'm doing it right now. I just got a bill, though, in the mail for one of my original cardiologists, and the date is 2019. So now I've got to go back, and it's a significant bill. It's like $298. So now I've got to go back and figure out, did I pay the bill? I can't imagine that I didn't pay the bill, because I'm organized in how I do it. But now I got to go back and research that. And it's not just one doctor. It's like from University of Maryland, and it just gives me dates and a doctor's name. It's like all lumped together. So anyway, I would love to do a live about that.
Well, we don't have HSA or FSA. My husband doesn't have that, and I'm not on any of his insurance anyway. But I will say that per my husband's request, I keep all of my EOBs, and I keep them for 3 years, because there are times where I'll get a bill from 2 years ago, and then I have to go back and say to them, either I paid it or I didn't, or you never submitted it to my secondary. So whatever reason he thinks I need it, I keep it. I have an accordion, but now I've got to have Medicare, supplemental insurance. You might sometimes have a hospital in there, plus my script, silver script. So it all just goes in, boom, 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 1 month after another, which is challenging.
I would love to hear how people organize it. So I went on disability December a year ago. So I guess within the next year, this time next year, I'll have to be moving my insurance over.
You know what? Let me tell you, I look at nothing. I wait. If I get a doctor's bill, the only thing I look for is, did they send it to primary and secondary? If they sent it to both, then I give it to my husband. That's it. But I know, I hear what you're saying. And I have, that is part of my cleaning out my closet, is to shred. I have kept every medical record in paper form for 7 years since I've dissected, because in my mind, it's the way that I can control my emotions. I like to go back. I like to look at all the CAT scan results, because doctors will not necessarily tell you about something that's not in their lane. So if something shows up on a spleen, you might not hear about it from your cardiologist, or if it's in your intestine. So I'm a fanatic about wanting to try to control it. So I like to read over everything. And I've only really recently started saying, let's be logical. If there was a change in an aneurysm from now to 5 years ago, it's not really significant change. Nobody cares. So I think I'm ready to part with the majority of everything and just look at the last year, because really nobody cares if it grew in 2 years. It's whatever happens within this last year that really anybody truly cares about. So, but I'd say my resolutions, that's one of them. Since my father has passed, I have realized that I have a lot of crap in my house. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in every single solitary room. And I think I just kind of realized, first of all, how have I accumulated all of this? And two, if I were, watching from afar, what am I leaving everybody with? And not that I'm trying to be morbid. I think I'm trying to be realistic. So I've already cleaned out one of my dressers, my end table, my bathroom, my armoire. Now I'm going to be going through my closet. So that's a huge resolution, is to get it out, donate it, and just look at really what I have and stop saying, well, maybe you'll wear that 5 pounds from now, or, well, that was pretty, I want to keep it. Nope. If I haven't worn it in a year, it's going to go away. It's going bye-bye.
Let me know how that goes.
I'm going to show you the bags. You already saw I started purging and trying to get rid of some of my bags online, which I've already had 2 sales, so I'm doing pretty good. But my other resolution is to not acquire so much stuff and to use that money to see more. I want to do more. I want more date nights. I want more family time, and yeah, and to kind of just try to be a little bit healthier and kinder to myself.
Right.
And to make myself part of that priority list and not so much always at the bottom. So that's mine. Yeah. We have a message. Oh, okay, so Charlotte is telling us that I do have a right to fight that bill that might come from like 2-3 years ago. Yeah, believe me, my husband's ready. Boom, boom, right hook, left hook. He won't go down without a fight and paying those old bills. But thank you, I do appreciate it. Yeah, that would be. Now I'm even more seeing value to maybe having a live event and talking to people about organizing your medical life. And maybe let's see if we can even get a rep from insurance companies or somebody out there who reps many and letting us know what our basic rights are. You know, when you retire, where does benefits fall? Medicare, disability, other Medicare? I don't understand any of that. So it'd be very interesting. But hi, Charlotte, nonetheless. Hello, hello.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your question. All right, ladies, we are moving on to our Friday. And as always, the first Friday of the month is our First Friday fundraiser. Look at that swag. Check all that out. That's some awesome stuff right there, guys. And we have, this is just some examples. This was our Aorta Keep Fighting logo that we did on a towel, which all of the logos, I'm pretty sure, are available in towels in so many different colors. Again, this was the same logo on one of our shirts. There's so many different color shirts. This was our, now in Greg's honor, our Aortic Strong Unbreakable community, with the hearts representing shields for superheroes. And we have one for caregiver, one for aneurysm, and one for dissection patients. This was our I've Got Hope logo. Again, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, t-shirts, mugs, water bottles. There's so much stuff. And our typical tagline of don't delay, grab some swag today and start a conversation about aortic disease. Hey, we're offering $10 off your purchase through the end of January if you use the code HOPE2022, sorry, HOPE 2022. And that is your promo code. And you can check out all the items in that shop by using the link that'll be included, or just go to our Hope shops and click on the Teespring link. And don't forget about that logo. That promo code. A lot of O's, OMO promo logo. It just threw me off. I actually need to pick up. I want to pick up. I have the Aortic Strong Unbreakable community in navy blue. I got that from the fundraiser. I love that shirt so much.
I bought the same one.
This one. Yeah. And I have this one too. That logo too. From the last one. I have one from everything. I'm going to have a closet of aortichope swag. I just think it's so fun to go out and have people start asking me, what's this? What's this? Okay. Thoughts, comments, questions on Friday? Nope. Okie dokie pokies. And then we had Share With You Sunday, because Saturday was a awesome story on our newest survivor in our Survivor series for the year, Laura Grau. You can check that out underneath of our blog and look up the Survivor series for that story as a watch and wait. And it's incredible, incredible story here. But we're on to Sunday, Share With You Sunday. And we have our continued collaboration with Omron, which is the #1 doctor and pharmacist recommended brand for blood pressure cuffs. This was based on a survey in 2018 conducted among physicians who recommend a blood pressure home monitor brand. If you want more information and to get a coupon code, you can click the link. I believe it gives you a $10 discount off of 50 or more that you spend and 20 off of 100. But we did talk with a lot of community members, and it's interesting. According to a cardiologist, upper arm and a wrist should really have no variation that much in its number readings But if you're going to do upper arm, you really want to be sure that you buy the right one for the circumference around your arm, and that you have the placement really as in the middle as you can, from the middle of your arm to the top of your arm. I have 3 from Omron. I have 2 wrists, and I have one that is wireless and Bluetooth, and I can download my numbers and send them right to my physician. And my new one, I think I'm going to get from Omron, has EKG capabilities. So as it's taking your blood pressure, you rest your thumbs and it reads your EKG simultaneously. So I'm waiting. We're going to use my promo code though to get it. So I'm curious, you guys. I know, Diane, I'm going to let you go first. My love, this is what you're so most passionate about, are these blood pressure cuffs.
Get your blood pressure, folks. I don't care from who, how, when, where. Get a blood pressure. Everybody should have a blood pressure in their house. It's just like having a thermometer in your house. It's just a simple concept. Your blood pressure has a lot to do with so many things, whether you have aortic dissection or not, or another illness. It's important for you to have a blood pressure cuff to check your blood pressure. Probably, some, not as religiously as some do it, but have one in your house. It's so important. I mean, one of the first things that you do when you go to the doctor, they take your temperature, they take your blood pressure. That's how important. I don't care if you go emergency care, go to the ER, whatever. That's one of the first things that they do. And that's should be one of the first things that you have in your home. And I highly recommend. For me, though, the wrist, I've had 2-3 wrist cufflets, and I've gotten different readings off of them. So I just basically stick to one that's what worked for me. But then could it be I got little bitty wrists, I could wrap my fingers around it like that? I don't know, but it does not work for me. It does not mean that it will not work for you. But it's so important. Monitor your blood pressure. Make sure you have one in your house, because it could be a matter of life or death. It could help save your life.
Everybody should know their blood pressure.
Right.
It's a number you should know what your typical is.
Well, if you think about it, the majority of people walking around have no clue that they have high blood pressure, which is why aortic dissections and heart attacks are the silent killer. Doctors have told me that we would be surprised at how many people, when they take their pressure, are 200s over 100s, not to mention how many pregnant women who have preeclampsia have that high blood pressure as well. But it's also important that when I first started this, I did not know. I would take my pressure in my right and my left arms, and I always would go with the lower one to make myself feel less anxious. And that is not the right thing to do. You always go with the higher one, and that's the arm that you should take your blood pressure reading from if you can. Some people cannot take it from certain arms, and actually there are some that cannot take their blood pressure from their arms at all, that need to take it from their ankles. So you can get blood pressure from a variety of sources, but if you're going to take it from 2 different places in the arms, you want to go with the highest, because that is the true indicator of what's going on in your body.
Yep. And this is a good place to say that one of the signs of an aortic dissection is 2 different numbers, a big difference between the 2 arms.
Over 20 points, over 20-point difference. Typically will indicate that in a reduced pulse someplace else in your body. Yeah, we're going to get into that, because we had Ben Udelman coming on with us in February to go live. So he'll talk all about that, which is going to be great. So, all right, well, this seems like a great place just to go over with you. Again, we have a live event coming up this month. We start our support group meetings again on the last Wednesday of this month at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we have our Ask a Doctor tomorrow night, which is, what is that, the 11th? Yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11th. It's beginning at 6:30 Eastern time. And we got so much coming up that now I can't think about it. I just messed myself up. But we do thank you for joining us. And it's critical that you like and share. And we would love your comments below. That really helps others find us and gives them an opportunity to subscribe to us so that you can see all of the great things that we have going on in the community and the variety of ways that we provide hope, awareness, and support. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. This went really well. No, I can't see any of you, but I'm waving hi. I know that I sensed you smiled right then and there. Just don't make any weird faces at me that I can't see. But all right, guys, thank you again so much. And we will see you same time, same place next week. From all of us to all of you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.